All right, so welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
Yeah, and today we're looking at Vardhman Textiles.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're a big name in Indian textiles.
Right.
And they just released their quarterly results.
Oh, those just came out.
Yep, Q3 of fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
And we've got a lot to dig into.
Let's see what we've got.
Yeah, so we got the press release.
Uh-huh.
We've got the transcript from the earnings call.
Lots of good stuff there.
Yeah, and some analysts sent over
Oh, nice.
some follow-up questions.
Always good to get those.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's
What is it?
a little more complicated than it looks at first glance.
Interesting.
Yeah, this company's facing some headwinds,
I see.
and we're gonna try to untangle it all.
Right.
With your help, of course.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
One thing that really jumps out at me
Yeah.
is the difference in performance
Uh-huh.
between their divisions. On the one hand, you've got the fabrics division,
Okay.
and it's running at almost full capacity.
Wow.
Like a well-oiled machine.
That's great.
It is.
And they're also investing heavily
Yeah.
in expansion and modernization.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, so they announced a CapEx plan.
Maybe one.
Huge, about 400 crore rupees.
Yeah.
And that's for modernizing yarn and fabric production,
Uh-huh.
investing in green power,
Yeah.
expanding fabric capacity.
Yeah.
They've even got a whole project for 100% synthetic fabrics.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is.
But it shows they're really confident,
Mm.
about the future of textiles.
Yeah, despite the current challenges.
Exactly.
Like they're saying, hey, we're
Yeah.
here to stay.
We're going to be even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So fabrics are booming.
Seems like it.
But, we read through that earnings call, transcript,
Yeah.
and things aren't quite so rosy
Ah.
on the spinning side of the business.
The yarn business.
Yeah. So what's the story there?
Well, it all comes down to raw material costs.
Okay.
Cotton prices in India
Uh-huh.
are way higher
Yeah.
than international prices.
Wow.
And that's mainly because of
What is it?
government
Oh.
policies,
Okay.
like the minimum support price.
The MSP.
Yeah, the MSP,
Oh, right.
which guarantees farmers a minimum price for their cotton.
I see.
And then you've got import duties,
Okay.
which make it more expensive to bring cotton in.
From outside of India.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does that difference in prices affect Vardhman?
Well,
I mean, because yarn prices are set globally, right?
they are.
So they're competing with spinners
Right.
in other countries
Vietnam, Bangladesh,
Yeah.
places like that.
who are getting their cotton cheaper.
Much cheaper.
It's like,
It's
oh,
like
God.
you're trying to sell lemonade,
Yeah.
but your neighbor down the street
Uh.
gets their lemons for half the price.
Yeah.
Tough to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And we can see this playing out
Where?
in the financials.
Ah.
So we got the unaudited results right here,
Okay.
and they kind of back up
Yeah.
what management's saying.
Right.
So walk us through some of the key numbers.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm
Oh, first let's look at EBITDA margin.
EBITDA margin.
Yeah, that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Right. Operating profitability.
Exactly.
Right.
And Vardhman's standalone EBITDA margin
Mm-hmm.
is currently around 13%,
13%.
which is a lot lower,
Than it used to be.
than pre-COVID levels,
Okay.
which were in the 18 to 20% range.
Wow. So their profitability is definitely taken a hit.
It has.
And we can assume that's because of the cotton prices.
Precisely.
Okay.
Another thing to look at is the yarn spread.
The yarn spread.
So that's the difference between the price of yarn
Okay.
and the cost of the raw cotton.
To make it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, Vardhman had a good spread.
Oh, good. About $1 per kilogram.
Dollar, wow.
But now it's down to around 70 cents.
Ouch.
Yeah. Big drop.
Yeah, and that shows
It really shows.
how the high cost of cotton
Yeah.
is eating into their profits.
Squeezing them.
Yeah, squeezing them.
It makes you wonder what could
Mhm.
change this situation for them.
Yeah, are they just stuck,
I mean,
waiting for things to shift
right.
at the mercy of global cotton prices
Yeah.
and the Indian government?
It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Well, there are a few scenarios
Okay.
that could help.
Like what?
Well, first, we could see a big jump
Okay.
in international cotton prices.
Okay, so like...
Maybe to 74, 75 cents a pound.
Oh, so keeping an eye on
Yeah.
those New York futures
Absolutely.
would be key.
Yeah. For anyone invested in Vorn
Ardman.
or the textile industry
The whole industry.
in general.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one
Or
scenario.
another possibility
Mhm.
is that the rupee strengthens
Okay.
against the dollar. So that would make
It would make imported cotton.
relatively cheaper.
Exactly.
But again, outside their control.
Pretty much.
Mm.
And then the third scenario
Yeah.
is a change in government policy.
Oh. Oh, wait.
on the MSP
Uh-huh.
or import duties.
Okay.
If they lowered those duties,
Yeah,
imported cotton would be more competitive.
I see. But even if that happens,
Right.
they've already bought a lot of cotton
Yeah.
at those higher prices.
They're sitting on a lot of inventory.
So it'll take time for those benefits to show up.
Exactly. Even if the market shifts,
They're still working through.
they're working through that expensive inventory.
Okay, so here's where things get really interesting.
I like where this is going.
So despite all these challenges
Yeah.
with their yarn business,
Mm-hmm.
they're making a big push into synthetics.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Doesn't that seem counterintuitive?
Well, at first glance, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite strategic.
Yeah.
Yeah, synthetic fabrics usually have higher margins, which could offset
Some of the pressure
some of that pressure they're facing.
on the yarn side.
Exactly.
All right.
Plus, they're focusing on specialized products,
Oh, like what?
like outerwear, jackets.
Okay, so higher quality.
Yeah, think performance gear,
Makes sense.
stuff like that.
That's smart.
It is.
But I read in the earnings call
Yeah.
that even synthetics
Yeah.
face a cost disadvantage in India.
That's true. So polyester and viscose, which are two common synthetic materials,
Okay.
those are also more expensive in India.
Why is that?
Import restrictions,
Okay.
regulations.
Oh, I see.
So Vardhman is actually looking into,
Oh, are they?
importing raw materials
For their synthetics.
for their synthetics division.
Wow. So they're really trying to
Yeah.
play that global sourcing game.
Find the most cost-effective materials.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But you have to wonder
About what?
if that could create new challenges.
Right.
Like, what if those import prices spike
Oh, yeah.
or new regulations pop up?
That's true. It's a bit of a gamble.
It is a gamble.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of complexity to their operations.
Yeah, it shows
It really highlights
how they're trying to balance
Yeah,
global market forces
Yeah.
and domestic policies.
exactly. It's a tough balancing act.
It is.
It is.
And speaking of global markets,
Yeah.
I noticed some analysts during the earnings call
Yeah.
seemed pretty concerned about India's overall competitiveness.
In textiles.
Yeah.
Well, they have every right to be concerned.
Really?
Yeah. India has a cost disadvantage
In both?
in both cotton and synthetics,
Wow.
which makes it harder to achieve
What?
those ambitious export targets.
That the government set?
Exactly.
It makes you wonder
Yeah.
if those targets are realistic.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's something we'll have to explore further.
All right, listeners.
Take a break.
We're going to take a quick pause here.
Catch your breath.
And when we come back,
We'll be back.
we'll examine those bigger picture implications.
A Vardhman situation.
Stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone.
All right, we're back.
So we've been talking about Vardhman Textiles
Yeah.
and their latest results. Kind of a mixed bag, right?
It is, yeah.
Their fabrics division's doing great.
Strong performance there.
They're making a big push into synthetics.
Interesting move.
But they're getting squeezed by those raw material costs.
Yeah, those costs are really hurting them.
Yeah, it's a good example
That's
of
right.
how government policies can have unintended consequences.
Definitely. Even with good intentions.
Especially in a global industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Like textiles.
Yeah, you've got all these interconnected factors.
Right, so...
You know, the government wants to support cotton farmers.
Yeah, the MSP.
Yeah, exactly. The MSP guarantees them a minimum price.
Which is great for them.
It is good for the farmers.
But then...
But then it creates a cost disadvantage.
For companies like Vardhman?
Exactly. They can't compete as effectively.
On the global market.
Right. It's
like they're running a marathon.
Yeah.
With weights strapped to their ankles.
With those high costs weighing them down.
Yeah. They can still compete.
They're trying it.
But it's a lot harder.
Definitely an uphill battle.
So now you might be thinking...
What's that?
Okay, this is all interesting, but what does it mean for me?
That's the key question.
Yeah, how does this affect me?
So whether you're an investor,
Okay.
a business owner,
Uh-huh.
or just someone who likes to stay informed,
Right.
there are takeaways here.
I like how you always connect it back
I try to.
to the listener.
Yeah, it's about making it relevant.
Yeah. So think about it.
Think about it.
How do trade policies,
Uh-huh.
raw material costs,
Those costs.
currency fluctuations,
All those things.
how do they impact your business?
Or your investments.
Or even just the way you think about the world?
Exactly. It's all connected
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up
in the day-to-day
the day-to-day grind.
and miss those bigger trends.
Right. The big picture.
This deep dive into Vardhman
It's a good reminder.
to step back and consider those forces.
Absolutely. To think about those bigger forces.
And it leads to a bigger question.
Which is?
If India wants to be a textile powerhouse,
Yeah.
what needs to change?
Good question.
Is it policies,
Maybe.
efficiency,
Possibly.
something else entirely.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah. No easy answers.
Right. It's a conversation we need to have.
That's a great point.
The crucial conversation.
A lot to think about.
Lots to ponder.
So Vardhman's Q3 results.
Yeah.
Kind of a mixed bag.
This bag, yeah.
Fabrics division is doing well.
Doing well.
Ambitious plans for expansion.
Ambitious plans.
But grappling with those external pressures, the government policies.
Yeah, the global market.
It's a tough environment.
It's a real tug of war.
It is a tug of war.
But Vardhman's been around a while.
They have since 1965.
So they've weathered some storms.
No, they've seen it all.
And this move into synthetics shows they're thinking strategically.
It does. It shows they're adapting.
They're not just sitting back.
No, they're not.
They're looking for solutions.
They are. They're being proactive.
And exploring new opportunities.
Exactly, new opportunities.
That's something to admire.
It is admirable, that resilience.
And their investments in modernization.
Yeah.
Green energy.
Right, sustainability.
Further, commitment to the future.
It's a sustainability.
To responsible growth.
And don't forget,
that's that.
The Indian budget's coming up.
Oh, that's right.
There's talk of more funding.
For the textile sector.
Yeah. And maybe adjusting those import duties?
Oh, those import duties, that could be big.
Any relief there could be a game changer. It could really help.
For Vardhman.
Yeah, and other companies too.
Ease the pressure on their margins.
Give them a fighting chance.
Make them more competitive globally.
Exactly. Level the playing field a bit.
So it'll be interesting to see
it will.
What the government announces.
What policies they come up with.
And how those decisions affect Vardhman.
Yeah, how it all plays out.
But as we've said, the textile industry
gets complicated.
It's a web of interconnected factors.
So many factors at play.
It's not just about threads and fabrics.
It's much more than that.
It's about global economics.
Right.
Government policies.
Of course.
Consumer trends.
Consumer trends, absolutely.
And so much more.
It's a fascinating industry.
It really is.
And Vardhman's story
is
a great example of that complexity.
So we haven't talked about
what's that?
Their sustainability initiatives.
Oh, right. Their sustainability efforts.
They're investing a lot in green energy, reducing their environmental footprint.
It's good to see.
So how do you see those efforts?
Interesting question.
Playing into their overall strategy.
Well, I think...
Yeah, it's almost like they're realizing to be a true powerhouse.
Yeah.
You can't just focus on the bottom line.
Right.
You got to think about sustainability, too.
Absolutely.
Weave it into the fabric of the business.
It's becoming more and more important.
Yeah, especially for consumers.
Especially younger generations.
They want to know where their clothes are coming from.
They want transparency.
They want ethical sourcing.
And minimal environmental impact.
So for Vardhman, those investments in green energy.
Yeah, and sustainable practices.
It's not just about being a good citizen.
It's a smart business strategy, too.
It gives them an edge.
In a competitive market.
Exactly.
It shows they're thinking long-term.
And it shows they get it.
Yeah.
That sustainability and profitability aren't mutually exclusive.
Exactly. They can go hand in hand.
By reducing waste,
improving efficiency,
ethical sourcing,
all of that.
They can reduce their footprint,
their environmental footprint,
and potentially lower their costs.
And enhance their brand image.
It's like a win-win.
A positive feedback loop.
You do good for the planet.
And you do good for business.
Exactly.
And this is part of a bigger trend.
What's that?
ESG.
ESG.
Environmental, social, and governance factors.
Right. Companies are paying more attention to that.
Absolutely.
It's great to see Vardhman taking this seriously.
It's good for the industry as a whole.
They're a major player.
They can set a new standard.
For sustainability.
Yeah, inspire other companies to follow suit.
So this deep dive into Vardhman, it's been fascinating.
It has.
We started with the quarterly results.
The numbers.
But we've ended up exploring
the bigger picture.
Government policies.
Right.
Global competition.
Sustainability.
It's a reminder.
What is it?
That business is never just about numbers.
It's about understanding the forces at play.
The complex interplay of forces.
That shape the world around us.
Well said.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the most important question.
What's that?
What are your takeaways?
Yeah. What did you learn?
What insights resonated with you?
How will you apply this knowledge?
How do you see these trends playing out?
In your own life?
In your business?
Your investments?
Or just the way you think about the world?
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but the journey doesn't end here.
Right. Keep exploring. Keep asking questions.
Keep challenging your assumptions.
That's what the deep dive is all about.
Well said.
Thank you.
Until next time.
See you then.
Keep those minds curious.
And keep diving deep.